I choose to wear the moose hide pin because I am an auntie and a mom and a sister and a wife. And the moose hide pin is meant to create awareness and start a conversation about standing up against violence against women.
Violence exists in many different forms. It does exist in the workplace. It does exist in more subtle forms, in words and actions, as opposed to physical.
The Moose Hide campaign is particularly important to me for everyone to participate in, but especially men to stand up and speak out against violence against women. Certainly as someone who has women in his immediate family, it's really important for me to publicly take a stand and do whatever I can to ensure that the future for women and my niece and others is a much better future than it has been in the past.
The pin for me is really a pledge of commitment. It shows a sign of solidarity for men and boys across the country of Canada to really show commitment towards ending violence towards women and children.
I know that the pin creates an opportunity for conversation, and it also is an opportunity to show that I care.
Why I choose to wear the moose hide is to remind me that it's the representative of the land, we are of the land, and that violence against gender or gender violence against women, Two-Spirit people, but all violence is not akin to our sacred teachings.
I work professionally in the anti-violence space, specifically on gender-based violence. I'm deeply concerned about violence against people in general, but specifically about the extraordinary levels of violence against Indigenous women and girls.
As an Indigenous woman, as somebody with a young Indigenous daughter, I know what the statistics say about violence against women, especially violence against Indigenous women. That's not something I want for myself. That's not a future that I want my daughter to grow up in.
I'm a son and I'm a father, and I think it's really important that we take the time to honor and respect the women and the children in our lives. Men largely are perpetrators of violence on women and children. And I think that by me wearing this, I can stand up and show other men and other boys the role that we can play.
Fundamentally, if you're working in healthcare, you care about the well-being and the health and well-being of others. So I would just see the Moose Hide campaign as something that's a natural alignment with healthcare.
Health professionals have multiple roles in relation to gender-based violence. In some cases, they're actually the first professional that someone who's experiencing violence discloses to. And we need to know how to respond. We also may be people who, in our families and personal lives, are turned to because we work in the health field. And we have to be able to direct people to supports and resources in a non-judgmental, supportive, and compassionate way.
Well, I think for us in healthcare, it's to be active, to educate ourselves, to make sure we're looking for signs of violence against women, to know what those signs are, and to actively speak out and be part of making that change, both in healthcare and in the care and experience that we provide to women who are seeking our support.
In the healthcare profession, a lot of folks will put it on their lanyard or, put it somewhere in something that they wear every day within the hospital setting. It's kind of a signal to say, it's here, I see you, I recognize this issue. And I've had folks who say, I was in a hospital receiving services, an Indigenous person saying, I was in the hospital receiving services and I saw someone with a moose hide pin on. And that really spoke to me. It was like, oh, I feel like this is a good space for me to be in. I feel like this is a safe space for me to be in.
Our role in healthcare is to make sure that we have a safe space for women. In Plain Sight told us that Indigenous women experience racism in the healthcare system, so we need to change that. And it starts with having awareness and being a part of campaigns like this and having conversations like this. And in healthcare, women should feel safe. So in healthcare, we need to have a shoulder. We need to come alongside our Indigenous women and girls. And we need them to know that we're a safe place and we're going to hear them.
In healthcare, we are in a position where we are able to advocate and prevent. So when I think about this topic particularly, I think in healthcare we have a stage in which we can speak to this that other groups may not have. And it's an opportunity for us to really vocalize our support around this and really identify it as an issue, so that hopefully we can prevent violence against women and children, both now and in the future.
In healthcare settings, we're not just focused on the physical attributes of wellness. We need to recognize that emotional, spiritual, and mental wellness is equally important.
If we're only looking at the problem narrow in scope and not taking into account that people may be experiencing violence, then we were not going to be good medicine people or good providers of healthcare services.
There's a reason that these women are enduring trauma and abuse, because they've got nowhere to turn. So in healthcare, that's our opportunity. That's why we're in healthcare, because we care and we have that chance.
It's really a show of respect. It's a show of commitment. It has opportunities for individuals to pause in the moment and not just beyond May 11th, but just to really understand that this is an important issue across the country that we have to take notice and really kind of start putting some energy towards as far as understanding and learning more.
I see this little pin as a way to kind of shine a light on the subject. I think violence really thrives in the shadows, and when you bring the topic out into the light, it becomes something that people can say, I see it, I know it's happening, and I'm going to stand up and say it's not okay.